what do you think we do? Maduro comes out. I don't know if you have the clip, Rob. One of the clips, Maduro comes out. I want peace, peace. And, you know, whether he's being sarcastic or not, 90% I'm thinking he's being sarcastic. Please, please don't do anything. I want peace. You've seen this clip, I'm assuming, right?
Yep.
This right here. Go ahead, Rob.
Not war, not war, not war. Just peace, just peace, just peace. Forever, forever, forever. Peace forever. No crazy war. No a la guerra loca. No crazy war, no crazy war. Please, please, please. Yes, peace, peace forever, peace forever. Victory forever, defeats. Victory forever, defeats. Esto se llama lenguaje tarzaneado.
I'm going to pause it. So, you've seen this.
Yes.
What do you think about it?
I don't think he wants war with the United States. Why would he? I mean, he's maybe a little tongue-in-cheek in terms of how he's saying it. His English is not exactly great. He's reading, but I'm saying, of course he doesn't want war with the United States. Why would he want a war with the United States? He doesn't want the United States bombing and invading Venezuela, would you? Look what happened to Noriega. Look what happened to Gaddafi. Look what happened to Saddam Hussein. No one in the right mind would want that. And the thing is, you know, we were talking before about people in the United States who are inculcated from birth to love Israel. I grew up in this area. You know, there was a huge Cuban community, still is. Those people never learned English because they were only here temporarily in their minds because they thought once the United States got rid of Cuba, they were going back. They wanted this government to get rid of Cuba for them. Marco Rubio emerges out of this. Lots of people emerge out of it. They're very focused on the Caribbean and Latin America. They think the United States has to go and fix that region. If you look at fentanyl, which by far is the worst drug entering the United States that kills the most people, it doesn't come from Venezuela. Nobody ever talked about Venezuela as the source of fentanyl. It was China and Mexico. The Trump campaign was talking about bombing the cartels in Mexico. It doesn't come from Venezuela. Cocaine, in some minority sense, I think it's 7 or 9% according to government reports, passes through Venezuela, has to do with Venezuela, but it really comes from Colombia. And Colombia has been governed until a couple of years ago by right-wing governments that were close U.S. allies.
It's the first liberal president they've had ever, I think,
first left-wing president. Yeah. So, I mean, Trump's now saying, oh, it's his fault. Colombia has been the source of drugs, you know, forever. All that iconography about Pablo Escobar and the Colombians and ever. This is a pretext. This is not, if you want to stop the flow of drugs, you have to close the borders, deal with the Mexican cartels. It has nothing to do with Venezuela. It's the WMD of the war. They want to change Maduro because they want a puppet government in Venezuela, like they've, you know. But it's not going to be that easy. We've been trying in Cuba for 7 decades to bring down that government. We've used all our might militarily, economically. We've suffocated that island like we're suffocating Venezuela. You know, you can go and change the government of Venezuela if you want, but what is Venezuela doing to the United States? We've closed the border. Trump did succeed in doing that. There's no influx, or basically no influx anymore across the southern border. So the argument is not they're sending, you know, drug cartels or immigrants to enter our country. And if you look at everything that has been said about fentanyl, which is what's killing people, it's not cocaine, it's fentanyl. It doesn't come from Venezuela. This is a disconnect. If you want to solve fentanyl, changing the government of Venezuela is irrelevant. And even if you did change the government of Venezuela, do you know the kind of instability you're going to have there? You think the drug cartels are going to disappear? Like I said, we controlled Colombia for decades with our alliance with the right-wing governments. It didn't stop we helped in a civil war. You can't destroy the flow of drugs. The drug war doesn't work. What you have to do is, why is there so much demand in the United States for drugs? That is one crucial part of the equation.
Why is there so much demand for drugs?
Why is there? Yes. Why in the United States, why do so many Americans get addicted to drugs, use drugs, want drugs? Why is there such a big market in the United States for drugs?
Yeah, but I don't think, you know, there's a demand for it. I think you create those customers. How do you think you do it? Oh, so you're gonna go back to war on drugs with the U.S. government being involved?
No, the war on drugs is the war on drugs is a failed model, and that's what the war on Venezuela would be, right? We're going to use our military. We're bombing drug ships. This does not work. Drugs are too easy to smuggle. Drugs are too easy and the profit is too big to destroy it with military. You have to eliminate the demand for it. That's the way to stop the war on drugs.
So you're saying leave it. You're saying leave Venezuela alone. You're saying let Maduro do whatever he's doing.
I think if you look at if I were to say, here's a list of the top 50 things that are creating problems for the American people
You
in their
don't put
lives.
this in the top
I don't
50?
put Venezuela in the top 50. Venezuela? I mean, it's like to me, like who's going
Top
which
three
warlord,
oil capital
is going to
world.
run, Venezuela will sell oil to us. Well, they'll happily sell oil to us. We don't buy oil from them because we sanction them. Of course they'll sell their oil to us. Trump said that Maduro offered everything. He said, here's oil, here's mineral rights, here's whatever you want. Marco Rubio's lifelong obsession is changing the governments of the region that his family comes from. That's a big part of it. Venezuela is not a threat to the United States. There are bad people who come from Venezuela. We've closed the borders. We're deporting them. That's, of course, part of what we should be doing. That's what Trump ran on and is doing. We don't need to go to war with Venezuela, kill thousands of people, create instability and civil war there for years to come that we're then responsible for.
So I understand for you as a non-interventionist that you would take that position.
It's not a principle. It's a pragmatic view.
Yeah, but I understand what you're saying. But also, how many Venezuelans do we have living here? 1 million? What's the number? How many people do we have living in the States that escape Venezuela? The number could be 1 million. What is the number?
903,150.
So what percentage of those would go back if Venezuela became, ran under a different regime than Maduro? I don't think you agree that Maduro is a good leader for Venezuela.
No, of course. It's not my role to choose Venezuela's leaders.
So if Venezuela stays like Cuba for the next 40 years, to you it's like, it's not my business, it's their problem.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Why would I haven't even been to Venezuela? Have you been to Venezuela?
I've not been to Venezuela.
How are you going to choose their leaders?
I've been to Panama. I've been to a lot of places.
Yeah, I live in Latin America. I've been all around.
No, you've been all over.
Yeah, but I haven't been to Venezuela. How am I going to choose their leader for them?
No, it's not. It's not about that. To me, it's again. This goes back to that. That's why I went interventionist, non-interventionist. Then I brought this up. This goes back to a potential future crisis that could happen. That a leader has to sit there and say, is this in the top 20 worst things that can happen to us 10, 20 years from now? If there is more, Colombia was a conservative country for many, many years, and then all of a sudden they're flipping now. They have that Petro guy that said, like this. Did you see what he said? Like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you think that's okay for him to do that? You think it's okay for somebody to say something like that, and then he's friends with those guys? And yeah.
But like I said, Colombia was ruled for decades, for the longest I remember, by a close U.S. ally that did what we want, basically a puppet government. We had military base in Colombia. We helped them fight that war, that civil war against FARC and other drug militias. You think it reduced the supply of drugs in the United States? It did not. It did not. And also, you can look at Venezuela. Okay, will Venezuela be a future problem in 20 years? Do you think if we go in, remove Maduro, I'm not saying he's popular among his people, but he has huge numbers of very, very armed followers.
Machado beat him.
Fair enough.
51, 59%, whatever the number, 61 to 43.
Still, you're talking about millions of armed people loyal to Venezuela. And even if they don't like Maduro, it's not like everybody loves the United States coming in and intervening and invading. It's like, oh, the Iraqis are going to welcome us as liberators, right? That was the theory. That proved not to be true. Not because people love Saddam, but because people don't like the United States coming in. We're going to go in and we're going to kill a bunch of. We're going to lose. Even in Panama, we lost hundreds of soldiers who died, American soldiers. Venezuela is a much harder, bigger country, more armed. It's going to be a lot harder. But then once you remove Maduro and you prop up this regime, now you're responsible for this regime, responsible for propping it up, this government. And you're going to have civil war. You're going to have civil conflict for the longest time. It's going to spill over into neighboring countries, including Brazil, into the United States. We're going to take refugees. We're going to take whomever. That's also going to create massive problems. It's not like we're going to surgically remove Maduro, put him into a U.S. prison or kill him, and then everything just, democracy and peace and love flourishes in Venezuela. We're going to be responsible for that country. You go in and you break it, and now you own it. That's what Colin Powell said about Iraq, and it was true about Iraq. Why are we going to take on the Venezuelan people have every right to hate Maduro. I don't contest that at all. We're not going to help. We're not there to help. That's not our goal. Even if it were, we can't help. We don't understand these other countries. Every country has how long it took me to feel comfortable even talking about Brazilian politics? Like at least a decade of living there. And even then I realized it's never going to be in my DNA the way the U.S. is. I'm always going to understand the U.S. the best. Every country is very complicated. You can't just go in and move the pieces around like chess pieces from Foggy Bottom in the State Department and think you're going to succeed.
I don't disagree. However, the job of a guy running the greatest country in the world is to identify future threats that could potentially happen that's brewing in different places.
What is that threat? They don't have nukes.
Yeah, I don't think it's that threat that, the traditional threat that we're looking at with Russia or somebody else. I don't think it's Iran that, you're doing what you're doing there. But I do think it's something that it's right next to us. It's a neighbor. It's close to us. It's still on this side. Here's Petro, by the way, from Colombia, saying, I'm sure you've seen this as well. Go ahead, Rob.
Puede ser por el mismo Trump, la más fácil. Si no, sácala Trump.
Okay, so the translation is not there, but what he says is, if not, we get rid of Trump, is what he says. How do you think U.S. should react to something like this? Nothing? Just kind of let it be the president of Colombia saying something like that, we'll get rid of Trump?
Okay, it's Colombia. It's like this chants in Iran, death to America. Okay, they chant death to America. Is Iran going to invade the United States? Is Iran going to bomb the United States? No. These are words. Also, Trump has trash-talked the Colombian leader quite a bit as well.
Death? Saying we'll kill him?
No, he said we'll get rid of Trump. But yes, Trump did say, he's a drug. What did he call him? He's a leader of a drug gang, or he's a drug trafficker.
He was.
And if he doesn't, who?
His background? Petro's background?
Yeah, he was. Here's the thing. Like, at some point, first of all, there's a lot of countries in this world that hate the United States. And political leaders benefit domestically by talking about the United States, by railing against the United States. We're the strongest country in the world. We have to have the security to know that people can talk all they want. So kind of, you're the biggest, strongest person. You don't get upset when people... I think
this is what you were talking about.
Yeah, look, he's an illegal drug leader strongly. This is a threat as well. Coming from Trump, it's intended to be a threat. It is a threat. So these leaders, have there's people in their country who want to see their leader standing up, when Trump says something like that. These are words. Colombia is not a threat to the United States. Venezuela is not a threat to the United States. And wars should be reserved for... I believed in the American... Like, I was very associated with the left, my whole career. And then Trump comes and starts talking about the evils of the deep state and America first and how these wars are all wasteful. And he runs against Bush-Cheney foreign policy and Reagan economics and the bipartisan swamp. And this is music to my ears. And I'm hoping it's true. I want to believe in this. I think that was the potential of Trump and still is. These kind of wars, like bombing Yemen, going around, feeding Ukraine weapons, regime change in Venezuela. These were all the things we were told that should be expected that would end. Hey everyone, I'm Glenn Greenwald. I am a journalist who covers a lot of issues, including civil liberties and foreign policy and the U.S. security state and domestic politics and Brazil. Also, a lot of people don't know, but I know literally everything about tennis, everything, so you can ask me about that as well. And anyone who wants to ask me questions or connect with me, you can do so on Minect. I have a profile there, and I would love to hear from you.
After 2 years of working on this, we have finally pulled it off. And let me tell you what it is. Every time we do the Vol Conference, if you've attended, you know this. I stand up and I speak for probably 45 hours is what I do at the Vol Conference. And I love it. I love being around the guys. I love it. But I wear the Ferragamo shoes when I do this. Or I wear some kind of dress shoes. Eventually, for the last 25 years, I've always been on stage walking around. I'm like, you know what? I'm sick and tired of it. I want a shoe that I'm comfortable wearing. And here's what I love. I don't like shoes that are so heavy. That's a dumbbell. You can use it as a weapon. I don't want that. Like the Xenia, you carry it. I have so many of them, but they're so heavy. Like you can literally curl the Xenia, the shoes, and you'll get a pump within 30 reps. And I wanted the combination of the Hoka, the On-Cloud, the Super Foam, because there's a big thing going on right now with the Super Foam where the bottom of the shoe, you wear it. You know which ones I'm talking about, the On-Cloud or the Hokas, right? They're so comfortable. And I said, what if we take luxury and then combine it with the super comfort? What would that look like? And let's build it in Italy. So what do? We went to Italy. We designed the shoe in Florida. We made the shoe in Italy in five of the factories. We went back and forth, God knows how many times. And by the way, the shoes we're about to launch and introduce to you right now, where you're going to see the video for the first time, I've been wearing those shoes for the last 22 days straight. I'm wearing them right now. I literally wear it with suits. I wore it yesterday when we went to lunch. I wear it every single day. It's the most comfortable shoes I have, yet it's authentic Italian leather. Rob, if you don't mind playing the video, go for it. Here's the video of the latest shoe, the FLBs. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, We had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless.
Boom.
There you go. Designed in Florida, 100% made in Italy. 50 hands touch each shoe that was made. And here's what's unique about it. I want to kind of show this to everybody that knows this. And I've worn pretty much every one of these shoes. So if you compare this, the Italian leather, of course, it's made in Italy. It's not assembled, made in China, assembled in Italy, 100% made in Italy, assembled in Italy. It's FLBs, Berluttis, which are 1840, Ferragamos are $895, Zennias are $1190, and Gucci's are $950. Leather premium lining, all of them except for Gucci. Laceless feature, it's the FLBs, the Berluttis, you have laces, Ferragamos laceless, and then you have also the Zennias, and then the Gucci's have the laces. I don't want to wake up in the morning, put laces on. I want to get out the house. Took me 3 seconds to put my shoes on today. Craftsman, 5 different Italian factories all made this shoe. Berluttis are the same as us, as well as FLB. But the only shoe, these trainers, the only one in the world today, according to the factories that told me this in Italy, that has the super foam, the only one that has the same super foam used in the On Clouds and the Hokas, it's the FLBs, and they're officially out, and you can place the order. Here's a challenge. We only have 1,000 of these pairs. And when you say 1,000 of these pairs, they start from size, I believe, is it 8? It goes 8, 9, 10, 10 and a half, 11, 11 and a half, 12, 13. Those are the sizes that we have. And the shoes that you can get today, the colors, you have access to, Rob, if you can go back there, you can have access to those browns, which is absolutely beautiful. And by the way, the brown on the bottom, the stitching on the side is a left stitching. If you can change the picture, and on the bottom it says the future looks bright. Look at the white lines on the side. It's beautiful. The only ones we have right now that you can get sent out today are the black and the browns. If you do want the white to pre-order, I would highly recommend you do so. They're going to come out the second week of December. So the white and the navy blue comes out the second week of December. The browns and the blacks are available. If you believe the future looks bright as much as we do, go place the order. There's nothing like sitting in the boardroom with your trainers and you put your feet over your knee and people look at the bottom of your shoe and it says future looks bright. That's how you get deals done. All right, so they're out. I'm excited to announce it, and I'm very happy for people to go sport it. When you get them, take pictures, send it our way. We're going to show all these shoes, all the pictures that are being taken. I already got a bunch of them sent to me on Instagram. Go to vtmerch.com, place your order. It's all over the website. Maybe buy it for your husband, buy it for your brother, buy it for your coworkers, buy it for your best salespeople if you want to let them know the future looks bright. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.